Before World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, EverQuest, or even RuneScape, there was a 25-year-old wizard game called Ultima Online. So sit back and grab yourself a beer and let me tell you a story about a game that stood the test of time. A game that inspires many games to this very day. Most importantly, a game that is still going and now growing once again today. If you guys didn't already know, the Ultima series was created by a one Richard Garriott, who should go down in history as not just the creator of what is known to be by myself and many others as the best and most inspiring game of all time, but also an explorer. He's traveled upwards into space, and he's traveled downwards all the way down into the Mariana Trench. Obviously, his role in creating the game that pioneered the way of massive multiplayer online role-playing games during a time that the idea of playing a game with so many different people at once was unheard of. Currently on a private server called Ultima Online Outlands, at any given time there is roughly 2,000 people online from all over the world. It peaked just a few weekends ago at 3,500 people. The Discord is constantly going with multiple channels and an extremely helpful and active community. If you guys know anything about the game, then you know there is no wrong way to play it. Anything from slaying dragons and demigods for their epic loots that you can either use to progress your personal player power or sell for large amounts of gold to further enhance your empire. Perhaps you are more in keen with the crafter type that supplies the previously mentioned with weapons, armor, potions, spellbooks, even boats to sell the ocean, or furniture to decorate your house. Ultima has seemingly perfected the art of crafting and creating an ecosystem where the crafted items are actually needed, used, and traded amongst the community. So much that you can post all of your goods on a vendor that you rent a spot from another player in hopes that he directs enough traffic to sustain quite a healthy income. And let's not forget about the blood, sweat, and tears that the guy who harvests all the iron ingots or logs that he turns to boards and then sells in the open market for a pretty penny to make the above happen. But don't be fooled, it's not all just sunshine and rainbows. At any moment you could be attacked by one or a band of murderers who would kill you without question and loot everything on your body. That's right, when you died in Ultima, you lost everything on your corpse. It's known to be one of, if not the most savage MMORPG of all time. Just like in other games, this game has guilds, and guilds are the lifeblood of the game, and there is always some sort of fun drama with guilds raiding other guilds' bosses or having large skirmishes just outside the boss room while the others try and finish off the boss and haul off the loot and all the glory. But beyond that, they're just fun. Unlike other games where people tend to raid log, as it's called, and play for 2 to 3 hours together a few times a week, I found it almost strange how this game tends to create such awesome friendships, and people always sitting in the Discord voice chats talking to each other while they are working together accomplishing the goals that they have for the night. Speaking of friendships, I've played this game since it was released back in '97 with a dear friend known today as Beltane. Throughout the years, we went to medieval fairs in full garb together, and I remember riding the bus home from school together, putting our shirts over our heads and running home pretending we were headless ones. And then once we were in the house, we'd trade hour for hour playing the game. His character's name was The Rock, and mine was Ninja. We never really were very good. We spent most of our time in the wilderness just outside of Vesper, killing Ettins, ogres, and if we were really feeling confident, wandering healers. If we made it back with 8,000 gold and the armor on our back, it was a good night. Once I got home from his house, I'd immediately call him from my home phone to a number I still remember to this day, and he'd tell me exactly what he was doing and I'd share in the excitement. I can remember sitting around and coming up with business plans to hopefully get enough money for our first house. The biggest sinkhole we had was walking into a tailor shop and buying clothes in a dye tub that we would ultimately lose from getting killed in the wilderness or going too deep in a dungeon we shouldn't have been in the first place alone, or buy one of those murderous PKs. What's funny about the word PK is it actually came from Ultima. It stands for, as you probably know, player killer. Also, the word shard, meaning different servers in games, it too came from the game Ultima Online. See, in Ultima lore, there was this thing called the Gem of Immortality that was broken and shattered into different shards. Thus was what the servers were known, from Atlantic to Hokuto, Chesapeake, Great Lakes, Lake Superior, all that. Even to this day, Ultima is that one game that provides the heebie-jeebies when you're about to die, the fear of losing it all, that rush of excitement and adrenaline. How is it that 25 years later, this is still a game that can provide adrenaline? I'd like to say it's 100% nostalgia, but over the past year, I've met people who have never heard about this game, and due to word of mouth from the Outlands community or even my YouTube channel, they gave Ultima Online Outlands a shot and tell me they too get the rush of adrenaline like no other MMORPG has given them. As stated a few times in this video now, I currently play on a custom server that is separate from the retail server. It has been said to be by many the direction the game should have went after the Age of Shadows expansion. Also, it is said by many to be Ultima Online 2. There's tons of neat features where you can gain experience to further your player power. Furthermore, depending on the type of character you play, there are different tomes or books that increase different abilities' power in one way or another. For instance, with the Wizard Grimoire, you can upgrade your flame strikes to do 35% more increased damage as damage over time burn effect, or you can use Create Food to make a magical mushroom that acts as a mana potion. There's different codexes that increase different melee abilities. Lately, I've been using the Wrestling Codex, which I made a great video over a wonderful build made by my good friend of mine and an amazing Twitch streamer known as the Amish Hammer. It essentially allows you to be a kung fu master. Furthermore, to make the templates even more custom and exciting, there are different things called aspects that increase your abilities in whatever element you decide, from fire, air, water, or even command, which is great for all the animal tamers out there, as it has a chance to heal your pets to full and increase their damage for a duration of time. One of the best aspects about Ultima Online is, like previously said, there's something for everyone. Ultima has been considered by most to be the best PvP game out there. Maybe it's because you can murder someone while they're farming for gold deep in a dungeon and take everything from them for your own. Perhaps it's the large-scale battles between rival guilds that happen at a moment's notice. On Outlands, there are not only amazing world PvP skirmishes that happen, but there is also planned events. Town struggles are like the old faction versus faction battles that happen in town. There's Stygian Rifts, which are actually 3 versus 3 battles that take place in a lair filled with traps and monsters and are ranked with an elo system. Dungeon flashpoints are similar to town struggles, but they take place in dungeons, as well as weekly 1v1 and 2v2 arena tournaments that sometimes during big server events have cash prizes to the winner. If you're unfamiliar with some of the things that I've talked about in this video, I'd like to recommend a few very active and great streamers and content creators. Mustache Gaming is a dear friend of mine who streams on Twitch doing lots of PvP content while he leads the Cobra Kai Guild. He hosts and runs the Boss Rail Port podcast, where he has interviewed lots of key people in the Ultima Online community, both historically and presently, including myself and none other than Richard Garriott. Amish Hammer is a plethora of information and one of the most relaxing streamers to watch. He takes time to go over many aspects of the game with his viewers, answering any questions you may have. Grape Ape is an up-and-coming YouTuber who shares his wealth of knowledge and templates and tactics from years of PvPing and PKing. Jasons is a script god who not only shares different scripts for the game, but also how to write them and learn how to write scripts yourself. I myself make video weekly over at UO Outlands and stream 3 to 4 times a week as well, right here on YouTube. There are plenty of other streamers and content creators that I didn't mention, and in fear of not making this last another 10 minutes of a video, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Comment below some other content creators that I didn't mention above. Go ahead and post them in the comments below, and some links to either their Twitch streams or YouTube channels. Also, down in the description, I'm going to go ahead and link some different links for the Ultima Online Outlands so that you too can come play with me and all these other great people of the Outlands community. If you guys could also do me a favor, like this video, that way it will reach out to so many more people, as honestly, I think the only thing holding this game back is just that it's not as well known as it should be. I really feel like anybody and everybody out there that is into MMORPGs should give this game a month of their time and just really give it their all. I know if they did that, they would be just as hooked or even more hooked as I am. And thank you for watching. This game is truly the MMORPGs of all MMORPGs to me, and it is really, really fun to make content for the Outlands community. So guys, thank you so much, and Pwn Star Gaming out.